As a human being, your health, your well-being, should be of the utmost importance. But for many of us, it is not. If you take a good look around you, you can see that there is a growing number of people who are injured, who are sick, who have some type of chronic ailment or addiction, and who are mentally and emotionally unhealthy. Because of all these things, there is an alarming number of people who just look like they have had a very rough life. I mean, there are a lot of people who look stressed. And the only answer that the majority of people who have these issues can come up with is pharmaceutical drugs. Pop a pill when you're injured. Pop a pill when you're sick. Pop a pill for that ailment because it's fun and it's quick. Then one day you get angry. The price per pill, it went up. Then pills made you crazy. Now your health is fucked up. I'm serious, folks. This is how it goes. There are so many people who unwittingly choose to use drugs as a method for treating their dysfunction, leading them down the long road to disease city. People honestly believe all the crap they are fed daily, from commercial advertisements, from their doctors, their friends. People, stop telling your friends to take drugs to help them with their issues. Hey, you got a headache, Susie? Here, take some poison. Oh, hey, Rob, you down in the dumps? Here, have a drink. Smoke this. It'll make you feel better, man. Even though this may make a person feel better, it's a temporary solution, and the person usually ends up worse off than where they were at. Now, many of us know that detoxifying the body, along with a supplemented healthy diet and regular exercise, is the remedy for most of these issues people struggle with, including substance addiction. And there are other natural remedies available. However, believe it or not, many chronic issues that people have are mentally, emotionally, and energetically locked in. Meaning, no matter what method of treatment they utilized, after some time, the issue seems to reoccur. The reason these issues come back is because they never really left. And that's why I'm going to discuss something that many of you have never heard of, and that is thought field therapy, emotional freedom techniques, or, as many people like to call it, tapping. So I'm going to explain it to you like this. There is, throughout your body, a series of circuitry. A constant flow of very sensitive energy that follows a natural, free-flowing path throughout your body. This energy flow has been charted as a series of meridians or pathways associated with specific organs. Naturally, this energy flows freely through these pathways, and everything is fine. But that flow of energy can be detoured or blocked, and even reversed. A lot of this has to do with a person's thoughts, the toxins they put into their body, the electromagnetic radiation they are exposed to, and events and circumstances that are stressful and traumatizing, such as losing a loved one, a fight, or a car accident. Now, it doesn't take much to screw up the flow of energy in your body, and it also doesn't take much to correct it. I'm sure most of you are familiar with acupuncture or acupressure. This is where needles and or the pressure from your fingertips is used to do one of two things: stimulate the energy flow or disrupt it. These techniques have been used for centuries, and they do, in fact, work. Understand that the energy I'm referring to is electrical. It can be measured. This is why it is important for acupuncture needles to be made of certain metals. Also, there is magnetic electrical energy coming off your hands without you doing anything. You can light a candle and gently wave your fingertips from side to side across the flame and manipulate the movement of the flame. It is not the wind. This can also be done with with a thin sheet of plastic between the flame and your fingertips. The point is, the use of needles is not necessary. Now, there is a book called Tapping the Healer Within by Dr. Roger Callahan, who is the founder of Thought Field Therapy, or TFT. This book teaches you how to use thought field therapy to handle anxieties, phobias, emotional distress, trauma, pain, and other psychological issues. Instead of using needles or using your fingers to apply constant pressure, you are tapping the meridian points using 2 to 4 fingers. Doing this sends a pulse or shock wave through the meridian point, breaking up the blocked energy that is not allowing your mind and body to heal properly. How does this work? Let me explain. Dr. Callahan's background is in Western and Eastern medicine. This enabled him to discover a link between the two. So he developed a technique that would remedy physical issues by correcting mental energy blocks, such as phobias. The book, Tapping the Healer Within, begins with a series of true stories of patients who had suffered from various psychological and physical problems such as anxiety, drug addiction, food addiction, anger issues, chronic pain, and the list goes on, folks. Now, anyone who has ever seen a psychologist knows that they don't really cure you of your problem. They just guide you in the management of it. But Dr. Callahan has cured people of their mental struggles by addressing the true underlying issue, and that is energetic. Agoraphobia is one of the most common phobias, if not the most common. So I will use this as an example. This is not really the fear of being in crowded places or public speaking. It is the anxiety of being caught in a situation that you find hard to get out of. The feeling a person gets from being robbed at gunpoint is generally the same feeling from speaking in front of a large group of people, the same feeling from being in an overly crowded place. There are degrees to this, however, so it really depends on the individual's perception. Now, here comes the therapy. By just thinking about being in a situation such as speaking in front of a large crowd can get a person's heart going, and just the thought alone can create a high level of anxiety for some people. This is called getting into the thought field. Because what you have to do is bring those mental issues to the surface. For example, if you close your eyes and imagine getting into a physical fight with someone, you get an adrenaline rush, and your heart goes crazy, just from the thought. So at this point, you have tapped into the thought field, and you now need to rate how bad it is on a scale from 1 to 10. 10, of course, being the worst feeling, and 1 being there is no bad feeling at all. So now that you are in the thought field and know on a scale how bad the feeling is, you can apply the tapping techniques. This is simply taking 2 to 4 fingers and tapping several meridian points on the body in an organized sequence or pattern. The sequence or pattern that you use depends on what the issue is. As you are tapping, you are also performing a series of eye movements along with counting and humming. This actually breaks up the frequencies of those resonating with that fear, that phobia. This technique works on phobias, anger, guilt, depression, drug addiction, pain. This can also correct a psychological reversal, in which the direction of your energy is flowing the wrong way. A sign of this is remembering things backwards. Now, of course, you will have to go read the book, Tapping the Healer Within, to get the correct protocol for a specific issue. Gary Craig, a student of Dr. Callahan, has a slightly modified version of TFT known as EFT, Emotional Freedom Technique. If you read Callahan's book and go to Gary Craig's website, you've got all the information you need. And I'm sure there are dozens of videos out there demonstrating this as well. Dr. Callahan has hundreds of students who were trained in these techniques and have gone on to make good money treating people by giving instruction of these techniques over the phone. This stuff has been around for a long time, folks. This has helped people quit smoking, drinking, you name it. It's all about energy. And whatever you put into or close to your body affects it. Did you know that you can actually magnetically pull bad energy off of a person that just walks by you? If you are close enough, that negative energy will actually physically cling to you. This is why energetic healers will often wash their hands in ice-cold water to wash off the negative particles that were pulled off of the person being treated. It's the same idea as scrubbing off radiation particles. They have mass, and you can wash them off your skin. Now, aside from tapping, there are also biosynchronization techniques that you can use to cleanse yourself of this negative energy. You can even use your mind as a transmitter to transmit certain frequencies to another person. When those frequencies transmitted by your brain match the frequencies of the negative energy in the other person, just like a singer shattering a crystal glass with a high pitch, you can break up that energy just the same, using your mind. There are dozens of people who practice different techniques, and I can testify that many of them do, in fact, work. As I stated before, many issues people have can be simply resolved by changing what they put into their bodies, by changing their thoughts, and by cleansing the toxins out. That's why energetic cleansing is really the final step in a series of cleanses that I'll discuss in other videos. This really comes after you get all the gook out of your system, so that you can really zero in on the psychological problems and get the maximum benefit from the therapy. However, you can still benefit from it without having to do any other cleanse. Now, the effects of real energetic cleansing is not subtle. You will notice a change in the way you feel and think. Some people report feeling physically lighter after therapy. Some report their joints cracking as they readjust and heal. Many people even report nightmares as a side effect of your mind trying to cleanse itself of negative energy, which is a whole other topic. You should take the time to look further into these things. You have abilities, folks, that you are unaware of, and you have more power than you think. And some of these abilities are similar to that of a comic book superhero. There are people who do not want you to know this, but I do. I want you to know about and release those powers. Because the bad guys are here, and they have come for us. And they want our bodies, our minds, our souls. And we are going to need knowledge like this, for now and in the future, to add to our arsenal of defense against evil.